Hello, everyone. This is the Easy Allies podcast. I'm your moderator, Kyle Bossman, and joining us this week, Michael Huber.
Yo.
Bradley Ellis.
Yo.
And Brandon Jones.
Yo.
Yo. Ian Hink, again, unfortunately missing this week. It is time to play Glenny's Cauldron. This is, of course, where our witch friend Glenny is asking us to collect some ingredients from the wizard store. We only have enough doubloons to purchase one item, so we ask our patrons to submit items to us, and we must pick one of those two because that's all we can afford today. Brandon KC is selling a real-time 24-hour day-night cycle, and all the shops and merchants are only open for business from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
See, I like that.
I love it. I love this.
I'm waiting for the part where that's best Skyrim.
Yeah.
Skyrim, baby.
Shenmue, baby.
No, but it matches the time of day today.
Yeah.
That's
so,
what that means.
And you probably can't skip
a
forward.
real life.
A real life 24-hour life cycle.
Oh, okay.
So
Live in it.
you cannot
you
play
can't.
this game.
Huber, you wouldn't be able to
Outside
play
of
a lot
work
of it
hours.
because you stay up all night.
You gotta find the time.
Wait, I do need specifics though. Wait, is it your time zone?
Real time. Yeah, real time 24-hour day-night cycle. So
Oh,
yes,
okay. Is it better or worse if it's like stuck to one? If it was like a Russian developer or something? It's like on Russia time?
There are Pokemon games that I've told it's different because I wanted to like have more access to things.
Can you cheese it like Calendar Man, where you like set your internal clock?
Yeah,
off?
Animal
You
Crossing
cannot
style.
cheese it.
Okay.
It's online only. Cade Stedman is selling. The final boss of the game is a character first introduced directly prior to the final boss fight.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
It was me. Now let's fight. I love that. I think that's so funny.
Isn't that
directly
like
in front of
Isn't that like Final Fantasy 3, 4, 5?
9 gets a little hairy too.
9.
It happens late a lot of times. Yeah, it definitely happens pretty late. The idea
Or
is
at least the form, you
Most
know.
of
At
the time,
least,
yes, it's like some
I
ethereal
know
thing
this
that's been there the
character,
whole
but like
time.
once it takes its final form, like
Yes.
I have no attachment to this.
yes, but in this case, this is a whole character who is introduced directly in front of the final boss fight.
I don't know if we can add more details to it, but it's like I need some kind of fighting style we've never heard of that they just introduced that they're talking about as we're fighting. That you're like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's really funny to have a final boss who isn't even familiar with you.
Yeah.
You have so many boss fights who are just like, I will defeat you now. It's like, who are you? And you're just like fighting each other.
One of my favorite final boss fights of all time, Lord of the Rings: The Third Age. You fought. Sorry, spoilers. You fight
Hold
someone.
on, what is the third age? That
The RPG.
It's
the turn-based RPG.
Yeah, it's a turn-based RPG.
Cool.
And it was pretty neat, and then just flew off the rails near the end. And like, I don't remember who you fight the second to last boss. It fades to black, fades up, and you're like fighting like Sauron on top of the tower. You're like on the tower fighting the eyeball itself. You're just like, how'd I get here?
Someone brought you there, dude. I want you. I want to fight you.
It was just
right
too
here
good of
by
an
my
idea
eye.
to worry about actually figuring out how it happened.
Before the movies or after the movies?
I think it was during. I think
It's
you were like
during.
you were like the RPG party that. Oh, you didn't just see them? They were just here. It was
I mean,
that kind of thing.
sorry, I meant like games development. Was it made before or after the
Oh,
movies?
after the movies.
After, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So we all had a clear idea of what the eye even
Yeah,
looks
yeah,
like
yeah.
at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're willing to give up the real-time 24-hour day-night cycle.
Yeah, we'll give it up.
Okay. I mean, there's another wizard who seems to come by the shops immediately after we leave.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we're leaving that on the table. Thank you, Cade Stedman. We're taking the final boss game character appearing right before the final boss fight.
I'm excited about that boss now. I'm looking forward to developing that.
Kyle,
He's gonna have an impact.
Yeah.
I'm more
He's
mad.
not, though. That's the whole point.
I'm more mad he used doubloons for our currency. Like, what is that? That doesn't mix with wizards at all. Or witches.
Doubloons is the currency that the wizard shop takes.
You should have thought this through.
It's not rupees. It's not gold. Yeah.
It's doubloons.
How dare you?
It is time for corrections. Begin corrections music, please. Okay, so I had this right. This is what kills me is when I'm right and someone on the panel says no, has the audacity to look at me and say no. I have
Sounds
a
like
different
that's like
idea.
a Bloodworth.
That was a
thing
Bloodworth
only.
joint, right? Or Damiani.
It was a Damian.
One of those two always.
Yeah.
So
Blood's usually right.
the fraud Randy Pitchford had a little magic trick during his presentation, and it was in fact Cario Dude on Twitter even showed me like images. Every single card in the deck that he was dealing had the signature on it. You could, like the angle that his volunteer had, she was like tilting it a little too close to the camera, and you could see as she was dealing cards, they all had the exact same signature on them. That's what killed me. So like, I love magic tricks where it's like there was a contraption. You know what I mean? There was like a cool mechanical thing that made this happen.
Yeah.
When it's just like, I lied. That's when it bums me out. That's when I get mad at a magic trick.
Do you like David Blaine?
He's kind of an I lied guy, but I always think about like the floating dude, just like cutting the soles of your shoes so you can like float a little bit. I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
So I don't
Is that what he
dislike
does, right?
Yeah.
What's the one where he's like in the box and it's like suspended?
That's real. He just suffocates.
Okay.
What about Chris Angel?
Chris, yeah, what's the difference there?
Chris Angel is a fraud. When it's a plant, it's like so boring. It's like such a bummer, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh
Right.
yeah, we just talked to that guy. We got a signature earlier. It's like, that's such a,
Yeah.
amaze me.
Yeah.
I'm amazed that they did that.
I'm amazed correction music's been playing this whole time.
Are you? Oh, Jones, this is for you. The Iron Man VR villain is definitely Ghost.
Oh, cool.
Most recently seen in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Neato.
Yeah. Neato?
How do we know that?
Confirmed.
Okay.
She's in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, you see her face. You see the mask. Like,
you will pay for your sins.
Oh, cool. Okay. Okay. My bad.
people who buy, there's another one for you, Jones. People who buy the early access for Dreams for $30, when the full game comes out, boom, baby, all yours.
Nice.
Free upgrade.
I love that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's neat.
How much is the Iron Man
$30
game?
I think it's gonna be not said, but like what they're saying about it, Huber, is that it's like an 8 to 10 hour game, full game.
What?
So that might be a
Whoa.
big 60 banger, dude.
I gotta play that. I'm playing it. Full playthrough.
Thank you. We did not have.
Playthrough.
We're struggling despite really positive previews. We're still struggling to find positivity about that. So I appreciate that you're there for that, Huber. Trivia Murder Party 2 is that name's game.
Okay.
I said Murder Mystery Party 2. I think I wasn't even reading the words on the page. Total War Games. We had some confusion about whether it's RTS or turn-based strategy. It's both. Turn-based strategy on the larger map scale, and then RTS when you get into the nitty-gritty.
There you go. Does it all.
Oh.
Does it all, baby.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, the Warhammer ones like
That's
that?
too intense for me. You don't play as Handsome Jack in the pre-sequel. That's a body double. It's a DLC character.
Thank God we sorted
Huber,
that
don't
out.
you want to play as Handsome Jack's body double?
Dude, Handsome Jack is the worst video game character of all time.
Oh no, we can't say that. We had way too many Borderlands
corrections.
supporters and corrections. Like I can't hear it.
I liked Tales from the Borderlands.
Me too, dude.
Really good.
There we go.
Yeah.
Aw,
Really, really good.
balance.
That guy's in it.
The bodyguard? Or the
main
body double?
character, I forget his name. Reese.
Reese,
is
yeah.
in it.
Reese, yeah,
He's
yeah, yeah.
in Borderlands 3.
He is?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Which is crazy because of
that
where.
kind of gets me excited, I'm not gonna lie.
Me too.
Because Tales was really, really good.
But do you remember where Tales ended?
no.
It ends in some like crystal dimension. So it's like, how does he get out of crystal dimension?
Excuse me?
Yeah, man.
Avengers. Saving the day. Yeah.
Spoiling Telltale games after
I
the
just
company.
saw his lips
Well,
gone.
quiver.
Brutal.
Like who's making that money right now? If you go buy that game, who's making that money right now?
Disney.
Jones likes Handsome Jack.
The legacy.
Jones loves Handsome Jack.
I-
Strange
Probably
fact
number
about
one.
Jones.
I'll take it. It's not anything to end corrections. Anything.
And
Love them.
Back at Game Trailers, when we used to do countdowns all the time, Jones always pushed for funniest characters, and we're like, why? He's like, so we can do Handsome Jack.
I wore
one.
my Handsome Jack shirt to the meeting. Didn't work.
And I asked our community. We've come to a consensus. Yuke's bad. End corrections music. Yuke's bad.
Let's do some like SmackDown games.
They do all the wrestling games. though.
Yeah, dude.
Yuke's bad apparently.
Okay.
At least now.
Okay. If they say so.
If you say so,
If you
but
say
like
so.
I left it up to the community. The community responded, and we have to go with their deliberation.
Yep.
Okay.
This one time. That's a rule? What?
Just this once, I trust you on Ukes. Oh, we have an update. Last week we talked about Borderlands 3. We talked about the rumors that it would be released on September 13th and be a Epic Game Store exclusive. Those turned out to be true. It will come out on September 13th, and it will be exclusive to the Epic Game Store for 6 months. I think that's an enormous deal. I think that's their biggest exclusive yet.
Probably, yeah.
And it is like they were tight before. Apparently, Gearbox published the physical box of Fortnite and like many
Really?
things in the past, but as recently
So
as
they have a
publishing
relationship
Fortnite.
already. Okay.
They're pretty tight.
Can we
Yeah.
do a launch stream of that for monitors like we did?
You know
Borderlands
blood's
3?
down.
Yeah.
You know blood is down. We'll at least do
You
co-op.
know, Jones is not down, by the way. He said
I don't know what I'm doing on September 10th. I don't know.
It's a long ways off.
Preliminary.
I got my
just a
phone. I
feeler.
got my calendar. I don't know what I'm
Just
doing.
throwing a feeler.
Like,
out
what
there.
if The Last of Us 2 is out that day, Huber?
The Borderlands is gonna have to wait?
Okay, of the 4 characters, Huber, who are you excited to play as?
I honestly know nothing about
Yeah.
3. I really don't.
Oh, okay.
But it's Fallout 4. I don't really like Fallout, but then I like giving new games in a series, even if I don't like the series, a shot.
Yeah,
So
give it a
I-
shot.
You know, I didn't really like Fallout, but then I played 4, and I was like, oh, I liked it. I liked 4. I don't really like Borderlands, but 3, same thing. I'll give it a shot.
There's a robot who wears a heavy coat named Flack.
Oh, I'm in.
No, that's dibs for me.
Okay. Can we both be Flack?
We cannot both be Flack.
Dude,
You can't double down on
just don't
characters.
play with Kyle.
Borderlands.
Yeah. No, I want to play with Kyle, though, dude. He's the best.
Kyle's gonna play by himself.
offline.
Yeah, offline.
Offline.
It is time for a very popular segment, Fantasy League Update.
Yes.
This is where we cover some things about the Fantasy Critic League that involves myself, Ian Hink, and Don Casanova.
Always plugging it.
Got some updates. Okay.
Sekiro helped somebody.
Yeah.
That helped Ian, I bet.
Yeah, it did. That was Ian's first pick. Like I think that had like a 92,
pick.
which is like that's like 24 points or something like that. It's a lot of
Nice,
points. It's
nice.
a lot of points. I picked up Outer Worlds. I did end up picking that up for $1. Let's see how that pays off. Ian picked up Division 2 sneakily. I don't even know when this happened.
Wow. Smart move.
Snuck it in. Well, kind of smart. It's like an 81 right
Yeah,
now. So
a
it's
solid
like
pick.
If you got it cheap, yes.
Division 2 coming in off the bench.
This one I'm jealous of. Also picked up Katana Zero.
Oh.
I think that's the cool like ninja indie game. That was like that's a sneaky pick. Ian spent $7 between those. I don't know how that was distributed, but I think that's a good pick. I bet that might rise higher than 80.
Always like those picks because I feel like the people reviewing Katana Zero are passionate about
Yes.
Katana Zero.
Right.
Inflated numbers.
You know there's some reviewers out there who can't wait to trash on Borderlands 3.
Yeah. Katana Zero, though, it's like
Yeah.
they're not even going to bother.
Speaking of Borderlands 3, nobody picked it up. It was out there. You could get it for $1. Nobody
What?
wanted it. Yep. It's a little iffy, Brad. You don't know how it's going to review, you know?
When was 2?
Dude,
2 was a while
easy,
ago.
like easy 70s.
Yeah.
Plus.
You don't want something in the 70s.
80 or above, you get points?
70 or above, you get points, but
Oh.
really, like, that's easy to find.
Okay.
You want something that's going to hit 90. You want something to hit high 80s.
I'm gonna say it's gonna hit 80s actually.
Me too.
Speaking of which, Yoshi came out, and that was on Don's team. Didn't perform too well for him.
Oh.
Just a little bit above 80, which was, crazy. You'd think Yoshi would rock it. And so right now, Don and I are tied at 55 points apiece.
Okay.
Don has 5 games released. I have 4 games.
Oh.
Ooh.
And here's the problem with those 4
So you got
games.
the lost column.
No, I'm doing better.
It was a baseball reference.
Got it. Problem is, Huber, I beat him with 3 games. One of those 4 games I just talked about is Metroid Prime 4. So even though I got 0 points for one of my games, I'm still tied with Don.
Yeah. Who got Mortal Kombat?
Don got Mortal Kombat. We'll see how that goes.
Do you still
Mortal
think
Kombat
today that
is
Metroid Prime 4 is coming out in
No,
2019?
like, I have a legit 0 now for that.
Oh, so the Fantasy Critic doesn't think it's coming out this year.
Right, I got 0 points for Metroid Prime
Dude,
4.
have you
That's in the
seen?
books.
Good.
Have you seen the Collector? The reveal of this guy.
Yes.
So sick.
That's
This new Mortal Kombat character.
Wait, isn't that a Marvel character?
Different.
This is
Imagine
Collector with a K. Collector with a K.
Collector with a K.
Yeah.
Trademark it, baby.
He's like a 4-armed blue dude who
Blue Beetle?
hoards riches. And like he worked for Shao Kahn.
Okay.
He's like a mob boss.
Okay.
But he's
Yeah.
like an imp. Imagine
Yeah.
an imp, Brad.
Yeah.
And he's got like blades that he just pulls out.
I'm
like,
thinking
little
of, when you
tentacles.
say that, I'm just thinking of sticks now.
Think of sticks. Think of sticks.
Is he like sticks?
No,
Sticks
he's
with
not
4
like
arms. He's like
sticks.
sticks. He's like sticks. He's got
like
sharp
Goro.
teeth. Does he not have sharp teeth?
I didn't look at his teeth.
And he's way scrawnier than Goro is.
Yeah, he's smaller.
He's a lot like Sticks.
So he sticks.
He's Sticks-ish.
Ish. Okay.
Shades.
Shades of sticks.
Shades of sticks.
So I got raked over the coals again in the comments last week.
Oh no. Okay.
Everyone knows my favorite way to start a podcast
Game announcement!
is a game announcement.
Me too.
And apparently I missed one. I missed a big one.
Oh.
Sakura Wars.
Dude, why would you miss that?
I don't know. Jones is giving me the blankest face right now. Jones, what do you know about Sakura Wars?
I don't know what Katana Zero is, man. I got some catching up to do.
Well, you should. Sakura Wars, Jones.
Yeah.
That's a huge Sega franchise in Japan.
Okay.
Dormant for nearly 15 years.
I love that.
Yeah, that's
That's
a
always
cool
great.
thing. Yes.
Like Samurai Showdown, I have no context on directly, but it's still awesome that series is coming back.
So it's a big thing. It's a Sega team is developing this game. I get criticized in the comments for not researching enough. Fair enough. Here's what I'm
There's
gonna.
a lot of games coming
lot
out
of games.
every month, Kyle. You can't.
Here's what I'm gonna do for you, Sakura Wars fans. I'm gonna read the Wikipedia entry right here on this podcast.
Nice.
Then you can't say I didn't research enough. Then you can't say I got a thing wrong. If I did, hey, go change the Wikipedia article, buds, instead of making a comment about it. Here we go. Sakura Wars is a video game set in Tokyo during a fictionalized version of the Taisho period. I looked that up. Taisho is 1912 to 1926.
Cool.
The player controls Seijuro, that's two U's in the middle of that, Kamiyama, and the all-female flower division of the Imperial Combat Review. Dubbed a dramatic 3D action adventure game, the player explores a fully 3D version of Ginza, Tokyo. That's version misspelled. Somebody should fix that on Wikipedia. And talk to various characters to trigger main story events and side objectives. A recurring device called the Kinematron, here called the Symmetron, allows Kamiyama to see a map of Ginza and speak with other characters.
Cool.
Was that everything?
No, as with previous entries, gameplay is split between adventure segments, Kamiyama explores Ginza and talks to the characters, and battle segments. A returning gameplay element is LIPS. That's an acronym for Live and Interactive Picture System. During conversations, the player is presented with multiple choices to select within a time limit. What response the player selects directly affects Kamiyama's relationship with the protagonists and impacts their later performance in battle segments. The version used in the game is dubbed Analog Lips, with the player able to move the camera around and highlight objects or people to trigger more dialogue.
Okay.
Hope it's good.
We covered it. We did it, baby.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You're talking, you're exploring, you're fighting.
Yeah.
I'm always down for a Sega game.
Yes. You know what? Sega
You know?
doing big budget games?
Yeah.
Please.
Feels good.
And I can't call this game low budget. We don't see the actual robot wars. Like, we get some shots of like cool looking robots in the trailer for a second. When we see like gameplay of this stuff, maybe I'm like more in.
Yeah.
For now, I'm like, why are you so mad at me?
Yeah.
Why should I care about Sakura Wars?
Dedicated following, maybe.
Yes, absolutely dedicated following. Big deal. But we'll see.
Nice.
The game is set for winter 2019 in Japan, very soon. In the North America and European regions, we'll see it spring of 2020. Also last week, got some criticism. You know what? I'll say it's valid. We did not cover the Kotaku article about BioWare.
Okay.
My initial reaction to it is like, man, this is long, and it's a lot of like what we already know about BioWare. But it had some details. I'll hit the bullet points, and then today we got a whole new article from Kotaku, from Jason Schreier in particular, about BioWare. So we got plenty to talk about here. We got a bunch to talk
Let's
about.
unpack it.
Let's try our best to unpack it. So let me hit some bullet points from last week's report, which is mostly about Anthem. BioWare, structurally effed. It's not just one studio, it's 3 different ones who think of themselves with different status, right? Like we talked a long time ago on this podcast about talent, about developer talent, and it is a belief within BioWare leadership, at least, that some of these studios are more talented than the other ones. Like there's an A studio, a B studio, a C studio. Rude. But anyway, that leads to people working there believing that they're in the A studio or the B studio. Anyway, not a lot of communication between those things. A lot of people are stressed out there, and what's really cool that Schreier reiterates is that it's not just because of crunch. Like, we talked about crunch a lot last year, just like crunch is ruining developers, but it's just like people get stressed out at work, people leave, they get frustrated and go, not even during crunch, just because of poor leadership, just because of people coming in and saying like, actually, we're not doing that, or actually, I don't know, and just like having to scrap years of work and things like that. It is hard to work in a situation where you do not have a clear goal, and you know your boss does not have a clear goal, and they do not accept criticisms. They don't want to hear what you have to say. And I think that a lot of that is happening at BioWare, and is a lot of contributed to why Anthem was not too good. excuse me. Another thing we had been running with for a long time is about Frostbite and how we had assumed that EA was really pushing Frostbite on all the developers and that is Anthem's Frostbite. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Frostbite, that's
Battlefield.
EA's proprietary engine. DICE developed it. It is the Battlefield engine. And it's really good for a first-person shooter.
Battlefield,
Everything
it's good
looks
for that, yeah.
so nice in a first-person shooter. However, EA's like, we got to use this for everything. Everything will look good. Frostbite was not made for Mass Effect games, and that was a big reason Mass Effect took so long and had so many problems. Is they're trying to force Mass Effect into Frostbite. Sports games, I don't think they've had as many problems switching to Frostbite. I think it's been difficult, but I haven't seen as many just like doesn't work.
One of the other things they said specifically too is FIFA makes so much money that if there are any issues with Frostbite, it's FIFA, and so you have like the lower tiers, and then you have Anthem, which like at certain points hadn't even been announced yet, and they're like, we're having problems, and it's just like, we're not gonna help, we're gonna FIFA. Like that's this, that's always the squeaky wheel. That's the one that we're going to be fixing always because it's going to make us the most money. Figure out your own problems. So it's like it's an in-house engine that the people in-house don't know how to use.
Oh my gosh.
And like, you can't like hire a new person who's a pro in Frostbite because that's your proprietary.
Sounds like
engine.
Square Enix years ago, battling their engines.
Yeah. And yeah, Square Enix was finally willing to go with Unreal.
Yeah.
I would like to see EA try something similar. So we had that assumption right. Excuse me. Turns out it was BioWare's decision to use Frostbite. That was their call.
Really?
Yeah. I guess it was like everybody saw it eventually that like, hey, EA is going to make us use Frostbite eventually. Why not do this now? Maybe a good decision, but it was made clear that it wasn't EA making a mandate. You must use Frostbite on these games. As Respawn with Apex Legends still using that weirdo source modified thing. So yeah, I mean it's not a mandate. The phrase BioWare magic is popularized now, and this was the belief that the thing's a mess, right? But we're BioWare. And within the last 18 months of development, the BioWare magic is going to kick in, and everything's going to come together, and we're going to get a 90 on Metacritic, right? Like, that's just the belief that BioWare had. And that's something that worked for them in the past. Even with Mass Effect 3, they were rewarded with great reviews. Yeah. Obviously, like, the history shows a different sentiment, but at the time, great sales, great reviews. And then everything since then, you know what? Dragon Age Inquisition reviewed well, sold well. I gotta say that was some BioWare magic.
And the article reminds, just Game of the Year at the Game Awards.
Yes.
That was a huge deal. So
another thing, and Inquisition was a mess for a long time. And just like, what do we do with this? I don't know, this is this. But then, some BioWare magic made it come together. And so they presumed with Mass Effect Andromeda, with Anthem, the BioWare magic would kick in and all this would come together into something beautiful. And in both cases, came together into something less than beautiful. But the phrase BioWare magic is now, I feel like, in the lexicon. I feel like we can use BioWare magic.
It's a meme now.
Yes, it's a meme now. Yeah. We can say Square Enix is hoping for the old BioWare magic to kick in for Final Fantasy VII Remake, right? Like we can say the stuff like that. And that's what we mean when we talk about that. Finally, Dragon Age is barely started.
Wait, barely?
Barely. It's been reset.
Whoa.
It was reset in 2018, I believe.
Wow.
Wow,
I didn't know that.
Right. The trailer that was shown at the Game Awards was just like all that was, right? Using dialogue from a previous game, I think, like not even newly written and recorded dialogue. And so it was what I refer to as a pacifier announcement, right? Just like we're all screaming babies and they just like, let's just plug a little pacifier in our mouths.
Like when Skyrim got announced?
Yeah.
Just like the mural?
Yes. And it's just there to like, it's okay. Like Pokemon, when they're just like, no, there's a big Pokemon game coming next year. Just
Animal Crossing.
Yes. Animal Crossing, great one.
Perfect.
Yeah. Just plugging a little pacifier into our baby mouths. And that's really what that Dragon Age Dragon Age sequel announcement was. Just little like plop. So today we get a whole new article, which, to be honest, to our viewers, listeners, I have not read this whole thing. I just did a preliminary speed read. Hey, is speed reading a scam? Is that real? I was thinking about that. I think it's a scam.
It's like 50-50. There are ways to parse information very quickly. It's never going to be as effective as reading it. So if you hear someone say like, I speed read, it's like, oh yeah, it's like you can read lips. There's other ways to like perceive information very quickly. But if you're like, oh, and I absorbed everything that you did in the same amount of time, like, no.
Yeah.
It's just, no, sorry.
I think that's a fair thing. here's what I've gained from this article. And Jason Schreier, apologies to you for not being able to ingest this whole thing before recording the podcast. It has been reset. So we know that BioWare uses cheesy code names for musical artists that they love. I love this aspect.
Yeah.
So Anthem was Dylan.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's carry on the spirit of Bob Dylan in our heavily monetized stupid game. The original Dragon Age sequel to Inquisition was called Joplin.
Janis
Janis Joplin, right? Like, let's carry on her spirit in our heavily monetized game, right? Like, what was special about Janis Joplin, right? Like, these were all the rebels of their age. Woodstock, baby. Joplin had high ambitions. There was some crazy stuff that they were like thinking about with this game. Joplin was in development for 2 years before being scrapped for Morrison. Like, they gotta stop this.
Why are they talking about people that like die tragically?
Because it's cool, dude. It's just like that's the kind of artist
Morrison
we
died in
appreciate.
jail.
Yeah, I like.
That's what we want for our game.
If we get to do code names, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I don't want to correction this to be what? Jim Morrison?
Yeah.
He died in a bathtub.
I thought he was in
Is that
jail
not
in
tragic?
Paris, in France.
He was avoiding. He was going to come back to the United States to face trial.
Okay,
He
gotcha.
was for lewd and insidious conduct.
But he died in France, right?
And he's like, oh, I can't take this, and he left the country.
I was
and
thinking
the Doors were still like, hey, we can't wait till you come back, and we can make some more music together. And then
Dang.
took a bath, didn't get
I
out
thought
of
it
the
was
tub.
Van Morrison reference.
No,
What do you do?
sorry, just
Got it.
nobody knows. It's like Bruce Lee. No one. We don't really know.
Mysterious circumstances.
Kind of like Mama Cass. There's just a couple. There's some weird deaths out there
We
that
do
like
know
we
Bruce
don't.
Lee.
It's like not really.
Bruce
Not-
Lee's painkillers, man, is tragic.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not. Yeah, I don't know if that's like the doctor that weighed in on that. There are mysterious deaths. There are people who just.
It's gonna be a lot of corrections coming in next week.
Here we go.
Their
Bruce
ticker
Lee.
stop
can-
Give me
ticking.
all the Bruce
I can
Lee
hear him.
info.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah, I mean, if you have it, yeah, but I think it was, just like, it's like super sad. Like, he had to keep working with his pain meds. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, no, what do you do that was lewd? What was he about to get arrested for?
And that also is contentious that he pulled out his thing on stage.
Which thing? What?
His
butt?
His butt. He showed his butt to me.
Sputnik.
You don't get arrested for pulling out your thing.
In the '60s, you do.
No.
Yeah.
And then Lenny Kravitz gets away with it?
Well, that was unintentional. Many years later, and quite the spectacle.
I don't know music. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
It's so unimportant. But anyway, the idea is Morrison is the current Dragon Age game in development right now. The weird thing about Morrison, as opposed to Joplin, is that Morrison is more about being a live service. The reason the whole reset happens, apparently, I love this. This is just total like corporate nonsense. Is that they could reset the budget. So the 2 years spent on Joplin is not going to be part of Morrison's budget. EA don't count that against this game. It's a whole different Dragon Age game. No idea how that stuff works, but obviously that's some crazy nutso publisher developer nonsense. So yeah, Morrison's an idea for a Dragon Age game that will be more of a continual game. It will make money for years and years beyond its release.
Okay.
Yeah, right?
Okay.
Not very exciting.
Not very exciting. Like when you start with Dylan, where do you go from there, right? Like you're just like your artists are going to become worse and worse.
You gotta go like Lennon, McCartney.
Is McCartney better than Dylan?
Yes.
As
say it, yeah.
as the Beatles group.
You can do
The
Beatles.
Beatles-
You can do Project
you can do
Beatles.
Beatles,
You
yeah.
can do Project Beatles,
Sure,
but I
sure,
won't hear
sure.
Project
Dylan-
Brad. I won't
Dylan-
hear.
He
I'll say it,
McCartney.
baby. I'll say even Wings is better than Bob Dylan.
Project Wings.
Got a speeding ticket.
Come on,
Sing
live
the
and
Wings.
let die, Jones. Come on. It's fine.
Huber,
It should come to sing a bad song.
I did pull
That's my
something.
jam.
I pulled something for you
Nice. Let's have it.
about Joplin.
Okay.
As
Which
I-
one's Joplin? You're getting me so.
Janis
Joplin's the original.
Oh, okay.
Inquisition.
Okay. Inquisition.
No, Inquisition.
No.
sequel.
The
The one that was canned. The one they put 2 years into. But
Oh.
they
scrapped.
said EA, we're scrapping
We don't
it.
even know what Inquisition was.
Which one's
Inquisition was the
Kravitz?
Jackson 5.
Yeah. Kravitz?
That was Dragon Age 2.
It's off the rails.
The story mode for Madden, is Sugar Ray. There's like Project Sugar Ray. A large chunk of Joplin would center on heists. The developers talked about building systemic narrative mechanics, allowing the player to perform actions like persuading or extorting guards without the writers having to handcraft every scene. It was all very ambitious and very early and would have no doubt changed radically once Joplin entered production. But members of the team say they were thrilled about the possibilities.
That sounds so cool.
Yeah, there was like a lot of cool ideas with Joplin. Oh, sorry, but like what happened there with that team is that they had to go help with Mass Effect.
Oh.
Mass Effect was a mess, and so Andromeda, excuse me, and so like they had to stop their work on Joplin and go work on Mass Effect Andromeda, and then of course Anthem's a mess, and then everybody was all in on Anthem. So there is a team right now working on Morrison.
Sounds like they should combine their teams and just focus on one game at a time at this point because they've had so many problems, you know?
Yeah, and yes, and it's not clear actually how many of the teams will be working on Morrison going forward. I think they're working that stuff out. They don't want to like overdo it, Huber. I guess there's like one of the problems that Inquisition had was they had too many employees working on it at a time.
Got it.
Which is like, you know, it seems like a crazy problem, but
too many
like
cooks.
You can have too many cooks when you don't have a clear vision of where your direction is at one point. Yeah, I'm sorry. I wanted to I don't want to just say, hey, live service, everybody panic. Here's another quote from the article. Yet, this wouldn't be a live service game if it was a repeat of Dragon Age Inquisition, which compartmentalized its single and multiplayer mode. Fans in the past have grown outraged at the idea of BioWare putting a lot of emphasis on multiplayer gaming, but there are ways in which a service-heavy Dragon Age 4 could be ambitious and impressive. For example, some ideas I've heard floated for Morrison's multiplayer include companions that can be controlled by multiple players via drop-in, drop-out co-op, similar to old-school BioWare RPGs like Baldur's Gate, and quests that could change based not only on one player's decisions, but on choices of players across the globe.
Will that be cool enough, though?
Not
like,
for
will
me,
the changes be worth it?
It would be worth it if, like, everyone dislikes a character.
And then he just, like, gets killed?
Yes.
It's just weird trying to, like game companies trying to monetize and live service a single-player game. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's such a multiplayer thing. So, shout out to Assassin's Creed Odyssey for doing it, I feel like, the best way you can really do it.
What is the best way you can monetize a game?
Single player, because Assassin's Creed Odyssey is
what is the best way to monetize
single player
a single
game.
player? Yes.
So they have their 2 giant DLCs.
Didn't you hate one of these?
No.
Yes.
No, there was a
We talked about how they made you have a baby.
Story stuff they messed up.
Okay.
They kind of tweaked it a little bit and apologized for it, but beside the point.
Did
they
your
kinda
character
messed it
still
up.
have a baby?
Yes.
Okay.
So they messed that
So
up.
you're a mom now.
Yes.
Whether you like it or not.
All right. Okay.
Story bits aside, they have the 2 giant DLCs, which if you are invested and you want to play those, you can get those. But then every couple weeks, even like every 4 weeks, 3 to 6 weeks, they just add free missions. So you can just hop back in. So I find myself all the time just like, oh, a mission released, I'll hop back in. So it has kind of that like live service. I'm sticking with this game to
Do
play.
the missions have stories?
Really good. Yeah.
What?
It's called the Lost Tales or whatever, the Lost Tales of Greece, and it has their own like trophy section.
Oh yeah, you were tweeting about Atlantis.
They're really, really good.
Did you go down to Atlantis?
No, that's separate. That's like a DLC
That's
later.
one of the big chunks?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But they give you the prologue to it for free. So
Is
there's
Atlantis still above ground?
no.
Oh, okay.
So like, I think it's just really clever and cool because it's like, here's this game that came out in October. I'm still playing it. I'm still engaging with it. And depending on how committed you are, you can be like, hey, I don't want to pay for the DLC, so I'm just going to play these free missions once in a while. And you're still engaging with the game. So I just think it's a good way to have people stick with a single player game rather than trying to slap some multiplayer on or all these loot boxes and any way to try to monetize your game. I think that's the coolest way to do it.
And another
free stuff and paid stuff.
Another responsible thing I want to do about this article is state that Schreier notes tries to stress as much as possible Morrison is way early in development. It's going to change many times before it comes out. Don't stress about anything because they even know within development, like none of this is going to stick. And so, yeah, I don't want anybody to panic or just say like, oh, that game's going to suck because like they don't even know. That's
This
the whole
game's
point
like
of this
4
article.
years away.
Yes. And what was also interesting is that internally, while the public reaction to Kotaku's article last week was like, we don't like journalists tearing down our artists. Real gamers wouldn't read this kind of article. This is awful. Internally, Casey Hudson said, let's talk. BioWare, let's all get together. Let's be a team. No more ABC. Like, let's all figure this out and like, let's try to be better. Not just about crunch, but about like work environment and
Communication.
Yep, structure.
That sounds like a step in the right direction.
Yep.
From what we hear.
Yep. Schreier also notes that many people will be leaving.
Oh.
Which is crazy. He knows things that like bosses don't know. He knows people will be quitting.
Wait,
that, like,
Frank's
bosses-
gone?
Yeah. It's so funny. He knows everything. But interesting to read through. Obviously, I have many more things to fill in between then. But like, interesting to have this access to BioWare. Interesting to know these things about these teams.
Man, that sucks. I feel bad for people that like love BioWare. It kind of reminds me of like what Square Enix went through at a point, and like Capcom going through, like just these legendary studios, just like slipping. It's like you want them to do good. Hopefully they get back there.
They talked about how Dragon Age Inquisition, like winning Game of the Year, was kind of like, oh no, because they had to slave so hard to make that game possible, and then Electronic Arts and BioWare was rewarded for that, and they were like, oh no,
do it again.
They were just this is gonna suck. I think the most frustrating thing for me reading that article was just that no one knew what Anthem was gonna be. Like no one really had that figured out.
Yeah.
And they actually left it like it was crazy how much effect Soderlund had on it, who's not at EA anymore, right? Like about the flight, which I thought was really cool. And was sadly when you and I played it for the first time, Brad, at E3, I was like, that's one of the best things about it. It just feels really good when you're flying.
It was the only thing that people noted about it.
And just to see like how frustrating that was, and they're like, well, we don't know. It's just, like if we don't have flight, how are you getting around? How are these environments going to work? And so you think about like having flight and not having flight, and it's almost like you have these environments that you have to prepare to just like stretch because it's like we're flying again now. Okay, well let me take this thing and put it all the way down there and move this thing up really high so there's like somewhere to go while you're flying. It's just that must be so demoralizing and so crushing to not have like a vision. It's like one thing when you're like, I have more work than I can do this week or this month, and I don't have to, I don't have time to do it. I don't have time to see my family. I don't have time to sleep or take care of myself. It's another thing that's like, I don't even know what I'm doing this for. Like, I don't even know what the end product's going to be. The writer left, like they were criticizing him for just telling the same type of BioWare stories again, but he's like, isn't that what we're doing? He's like, I work for this company.
Same thing.
Dragon Quest Inquisition won Game of the Year. Shouldn't I emulate that? Like, I'm confused.
Dragon Age writer left as well when Joplin ended. Yeah, so it's just same kind of thing.
So it's kind of like Rare in a sense of like it's not even really the same company anymore as it was.
Oh, as like in the heyday?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Not even close. But what like Jones is tapping on something I think is really interesting is this idea that AAA games are so expensive that you can't afford to experiment. You can't afford to like just have a small idea and see how fun that is.
Freaks me out.
You'd have like, it seems like more of a vision and like a layout planned.
Yes.
Instead of like, we'll just figure it out as we go.
Right.
It seems like.
Like you got to believe, the money people need to believe in the creative director.
Yeah.
That person needs to be on point.
And so I kind of think that like Star Wars Fallen Order, right? That's the name of it.
Jedi Fallen Order.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. We know it's going to be a hit. Even if that game is a 7, that game is going to be a hit because it's Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order because of the title, right? That's easy to invest in. And so I think
Stig
that
has like a somewhat track record, worked on God of War and stuff.
Yeah, but like that's not a million seller. I feel like, Stig also had to leave Sony Santa Monica because that game got canceled that they were working on. Apparently that was too close to Destiny, right? Like again, like another new IP, that whatever that game was, where it's just like, how do we invest? What even is this? How are we going to give this millions and millions of dollars when you don't know what this is? But when you have a small team and you don't know what it is, you're fine. Like if it's almost as if it like I always like think of the comic book structure. I romanticize it so much. I really like it. Correct me if I'm wrong, and it's not as cool as this, but it's just a cheap way to start your own franchise, right? It's a really super comparatively cheap way to start your own stories, to start your own IPs and characters, and play things out and see how they go, and then build upon those, and then you can get your movie deal, right? Like it's really hard to invest in a new original idea for a movie because it's probably going to suck. is probably gonna be monster trucks, right? Like it's probably like it's the chances of your game, your $1 million AAA game being good are low. It's probably gonna be bad. You're lucky if you get Anthem. Anthem is a good case scenario, right? Like it's and
For Honor.
I wonder if we need that that kind of incubation, and I guess Activision's cool with it, and EA sometimes, yeah, they have their EA partners, right? They're cool with this kind of like incubation of like, hey, let's just start with some small games, we'll see where these go. Maybe someday Yarny can be a AAA dude. Right now we're just trying out these Unravel games, and so I wonder if that's that kind of idea, but like I do think it's just hard to make a game the size of Anthem.
Sure. And I think the one thing that's kind of turned around in my brain is this idea I think of, because we all think about like, when did this development start? How long is this game? Because we try to guess, like, when is this coming out? Is it happening this year? Is it happening this quarter? And I always think about like from the day that development started, that we knew you knew you were going to go to the office and get a paycheck, and your paycheck was going to be for this game specifically. You might help other friends with other projects, but you're primarily working on this game. And now it's like, actually, development starts when that team knows what the hell they're making, like knows like what the game is. That's why Division 2 is so good, because they had the Division. You know, they had this game that was very, very different. That they were kind of writing their own rules. You know, even following Destiny of like how this game was going to work. And then I imagine just they had this whole list the entire time they were doing Division. You can feel it when you're playing Division 2 of like, you know, it'd be cool. You know, like you know what we don't have time to do right now is this cool stuff we can add to Dark Zone, is having the Black Tusk come in at the end, this whole new division, new like robots are coming out in Endgame. I'm like, what is going on? You know, it's just so rewarding.
What kind of robots? Like dog robots?
Like just like little walkers, like little four-legged. They'll go and then just scan like little like green lasers scanning everybody. And like, I've put more than 20 hours in this game. I've never seen these things. And it's just like how even for something like Devil May Cry, it's so rewarding to get to the later levels and just like, here's a new enemy type I've never seen before. And they know that's valuable because they've done it wrong, because they've known like, we did DMC2, let's never do that again. You know, and it just seems like everything BioWare's doing is just kind of like they just wipe the whole slate with let's make something. They say in the article, let's make something that people will be riffing on for years to come. It's like, well, we're going to be riffing on this for the reasons because that didn't work. You know, it was too broad, it was too ethereal, and just nobody could sink their teeth into it and get excited about it.
Right.
I can't imagine that, going to work every single day. Just being like, what? I don't even know. I don't even know if you walk in our game or fly. I don't know.
Yeah, that's insane.
That could change next week. Like,
right. And what I'm saying is like, if you had that comic book version of Anthem, right? Like you had maybe the indie version, but like just a smaller version of like, this works. This is great. Like I think that's the way going forward. Like that is. You just build upon that, as you just said, they build with Division 2. Like Division 1, that's a huge risk. Even though it has Tom Clancy's name on it, like that was a huge thing to invest in. Watch Dogs is a huge thing to invest in. It's scary that Ubisoft does this stuff, and most of them work out really well. For Honor, scary. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Love that. Take a risk. Take a chance.
They're taking risks, dude. Yeah. And I
like
realize that, like, go ahead.
Well, because Watch Dogs is interesting because it's like the template. It's like, all right, we have Assassin's Creed, we got the open world, we got all this.
Yeah.
Let's like tweak it a little bit. So it feels kind of like fair. A little less risky, but also you're launching a new IP. So
but we have a framework for the progression, the character progression, world design. You're right. We have a framework for all of that. You're so right. Whereas Anthem had no framework.
Yeah.
Like, what do we even base this off of?
Scratch.
Yes. Fair point. Y'all hear that? Sounds like it's podcast halftime.
The following are the official sponsors of Easy Allies for the month of April. Car Keys Express. If you need a replacement car key or a remote, check out carkeysexpress.com/store. Use coupon code EZA at checkout for free shipping and 10% off of your order. They are proud sponsors of Easy Allies. Fangamer, makers of officially licensed merchandise for games like Dark Souls, Hollow Knight, Undertale, Katamari Damacy, and Persona 5. Not to mention Easy Allies t-shirts. Their newest products include the Hollow Knight Collector's Edition for Switch, PS4, and PC, a Prince and Katamari magnetic plush, and a Metaton EX posable figurine from Undertale. Check out their store at fangamer.com. Hogue Law Business Law Firm. Whether you're starting a business at level 1, stuck fighting the dreaded fundraising boss, or finally cashing out with a well-earned high score, you need a good business lawyer at your side. Or at least that Good Business Lawyer's YouTube and podcast series, Virtual Legality. This week in Virtual Legality, Hogue discusses the legal potholes along the road of video game preservation, the tumultuous development of BioWare's Anthem, and its even more tumultuous public messaging, and the difficult case of From Software, Sekiro, and Easy Mode. Check it all out at youtube.com/VirtualLegality. facebook.com/HOEGlaw, or on your favorite podcast service. Sweet Justice, a sound design company from the southern shores of the UK. They've worked on some of the biggest AAA titles, the most refreshing indie titles, and collaborated with the best development teams in the world. Y2Kyle89, who would like to give a shout out to Crosscode's assist menu. Crosscode is willing to give you the extra second you need to solve a timed puzzle without being a jerk about it. Elthanis. Our gifted sponsor this month is the Able Gamers Foundation, a nonprofit charity that aims to improve the overall quality of life for those with disabilities through the power of video games, creating opportunities that enable play in order to combat social isolation, foster inclusive communities, and improve the quality of life for people with disabilities. The link to donate is in the description. And our mega sponsor, River Horse. Our friends over at River Horse can teach you the ways of the ServiceNow platform. Do you think that email and spreadsheets are a thing of the past? So do they. See how they are helping companies transform the world of work. What is ServiceNow? It's a platform, a piece of technology that lets people automate their business. They're part of the movement to create great work experiences and unlock productivity for employees and the enterprise. With River Horse, you'll learn to master ServiceNow capabilities through hands-on, real-world instruction. As an authorized training partner, their education advisors are able to teach over 12 official classes. Join them at Knowledge 19 in Vegas from May 5th to the 9th, the industry's biggest conference of the year. River Horse will be teaching in the pre-conference training and hosting several events throughout the week. Reach out to them on Twitter or email to join them and get some free swag. They're proud to support the Easy Allies and look forward to supporting all allies that work in the IT industry. Train to transform. Look them up at www.riverhorse.com. All of these links are available in the description. Thank you to our sponsors.
Thank you, sponsors.
There's a dash in there.
Thank
River
you.
Dash Horse. River Dash Horse.
River Dash Horse.
River Dash Horse.
River Dash Horse.
I knew I was doing it
River
wrong, but I
Dash.
just
Something
stayed the
here.
course.
River Dash.
River Dash.
River Dash.
I just had a cool idea for
Okay.
persistent worlds like Dragon Age. So we're all in the same server, whatever, right? There is only one instance of a romanceable character. We have to fight for the love of that one romanceable character.
In. Hard in.
How
Love
sick
it.
would that be?
Yep.
So like it's like the Bachelor or Bachelorette
Yeah.
for
Handing
NPCs.
out roses.
Yes.
Wait, is it everybody playing the game or people like in a server?
I'd love for it to be everybody. I'd love for it to be among millions.
There's
He or
one
she
winner.
chooses one, right? Like there is one. That would be sick, dude.
Dragon Age Bachelor.
Dragon Age, millions though, Brad. I think it might have to be server. I don't know if we can go to millions.
It'd be cool if like there's a town and it just gets overrun by like vampires or zombies or something like that. Then you gotta go and kill them all to get access back to the town or something like that.
To win the love of the Bachelor?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
You win the love of everybody. The baker, the tailor, everybody. And
Seriously,
you get
when are
certain buffs if you're affiliated with someone.
I want to be just like a baker in an online game.
You don't,
so
though. You
bad.
don't. That's
You
the
could
truth
do
is you
that,
don't.
Hubert.
Like, I need it. I need that game.
That's the
Somebody
truth
make
is you
that
don't.
game.
I know
Hubert,
you
you
don't.
could play.
Like, dude, Star Wars Galaxies, the entertainers, you just sit in the cantina, play some music. It was
Did you do
awesome.
it?
Yeah, all the time.
That is all you
Hubert,
did.
go play.
Not all I did, but a lot.
You had the option to.
Go play GTA 5 online. Join an RP server and be
True.
a baker.
You absolutely can and serve people food.
Yeah.
You can?
Yeah.
Can like work in the little burger shop?
Yeah,
I think you
saw,
can,
like,
yeah.
I saw a YouTuber prankster who like poisoned the tacos that he was handing out for free.
No.
No
Yeah.
way. This is a bit.
Not a bit.
Are you serious?
Dead serious. And then the police came for him and they like locked him in the back. Like it's YouTube pranksters and like RP servers are very funny.
This sounds amazing.
Yeah. Don't know how he poisoned the tacos though. We got some headlines.
I hope poison tacos are coming up in corrections.
Somebody
That's what we're
poisoned
talking
the
about.
tacos.
So I mentioned poison tacos last week. Here we go.
April 12th is the release of Labo VR. Normally I don't like to talk about Labo too much because it's just like the dumb offshoot for kids, right? It's educational.
You will be ashamed of your words and deeds when Pokemon Snap 2 gets announced.
Hubert, I thought it would never be possible. I thought they would never cross the streams. Previously, they did. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is controllable by the Labo steering wheel. I'm like, why would they do that? Keep them separate. The lines got blurrier last week when a VR mode for Super Mario Odyssey
New stuff.
And the entirety of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild are now announced to have VR capabilities.
Yes, I heard about this.
Okay.
I don't want to buy it though, but I want to play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those two games, the biggest games of the Switch, will be compatible with the VR headset. So to be clear, the entirety, you can play all of Breath of the Wild staring into this headset with your hands up by your face.
What about when you're driving the light cycle or whatever?
Yeah, dude.
It can't be good though. Like combat with that thing, that game is not made for that. It's gonna look goofy.
Yeah, it's going to look bad, right? The screen is not high resolution enough. The frame rate was bad even in docked mode. Like, it's hard for me to imagine this working in VR where you need super high frame rates or else you get sick.
But Terrytown will look crisp.
You'll be in Terry.
It will not look crisp, dude, but it will
Small
be in
scale.
3 dimensions. Hey, it'll have depth.
Yeah.
But the idea is, Hubert, like, the headset, you have the controllers on the sides of it, so you're holding it up to your face and
Just like
using the
this.
analog sticks by your ears.
Wait, that's how you play?
Yeah.
You can't just have it on and then...
No.
No,
Oh, that's a deal breaker.
we're using cardboard here.
Yeah, we're
I
using
can't
cardboard.
play a 80-hour game like that.
Hubert, they have like a 3D drawing thing, and it's like an elephant, and you have to like hold the thing up with your head, and then use the elephant to like paint.
Paint this
Some
paintbrush.
YouTube hack will like... Here's how
Someone's
to,
got
here's how to
strap it,
strap
make a helmet.
thing. Yeah.
I mean, the Switch is not light, dude. The Switch itself.
Then they're gonna introduce that new Switch model and be like,
Yeah.
made for VR.
But it'll need a whole new Labo. It's gonna be a different size. It's gonna be like, all of this is insane. I actually thought about it. I'd be like, you know what? I would just lie down in my bed, and I think that would actually work. You could just lie
But then,
down.
like, looking around wouldn't be that great because
Oh,
you're
good
laying on
point,
your
yeah.
bed, you know?
Then I really just have, like,
turning around
180.
and stuff won't be as good.
Yeah, I hear you, Brad. Good point. Oh, to be super clear, anyway, Mario Odyssey just has some modes.
Love that. I
has,
love nothing more than separate VR modes from the main game.
Yeah.
I adore when developers do that.
And so it's like you're locked in your spot. You're not moving around as the camera. You're watching Mario move around Astrobot style, even though you follow Astrobot a little bit, in like 5 bonus VR levels based off of the worlds that are already in the game.
So cool.
Yeah, neat. I had to
I'm
bring it
really
up.
skeptical about this, but
Me too, man.
But not the Mario.
I hope it's cool.
I think the Mario will be amazing.
I think Mario will work better than Zelda, probably. Like,
just-
Zelda I'm way
yeah.
more interested in,
Sure.
but I think Mario might work better.
PSVR is not amazing. I like PSVR,
Yeah.
right? I have a hard time thinking this will be amazing.
Because you're just going to be doing this.
And it's going to be cruddy.
No one wants to do that.
Oh yeah, with
Yeah.
Mario, do you have to do this too?
Yeah, dude.
You got to do it with everything.
Yeah, I don't like that.
They got to make the helmet.
You got to make a helmet.
What's weird to me is that like I imagine Sony went out after like every single developer and was like, "Have you considered VR? Like, would you like to make Borderlands VR? Would you like to make Arkham City VR? Like I don't think there's anyone. You know, I imagine a lot of people probably turned them down, but like made sense for them to get companies like Rocksteady, like to get people on board, even just making like a small thing, because once you get a taste of that, once that crosses over some franchise that you're interested in, now you're like, well, okay, I'm curious to see what my popular franchise looks like from PSVR, and on top of that, all these other games look great. Okay, I'll finally buy in. But it's like PSVR, I think, is a major initiative for Sony, and it's a very, a relatively expensive piece of hardware, and something that you do need to like play it to know like how good it is. And so I'm not surprised when Sony's like, what can we do to get more people just to try this thing? Like, should we have it at more events? Should we go on a tour? Should we have more franchises or more cheaper games so that people can check out more stuff? Why does Labo need to sell a lot? That's what I don't understand. Like, why, was it just the Mario and Zelda teams, or just this is just too much fun? Like, we just really want to be involved in this? Or was Nintendo like, we need Mario and Link to be like, hey, Labo, go get it, because it is such a weird, hack job to make VR work.
I was just talking about EA and incubation, right? Trying small ideas first. I wonder if this is that, Jones. I wonder
experimenting?
Just playing around. And Nintendo does this a lot.
Yeah.
Right? They'll try things out on a small scale before they go full scale, or sometimes they'll drop it. If it doesn't work on small scale, they'll let it go.
Is it weird that I get the vibe that they want Labos in school classrooms?
Oh, they do.
Yeah, they do.
Yes.
Have they
100%.
said that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Like it's like engineering wise, I love Labo. But like, this isn't a podcast where we talk about educational tools, and that's why I normally don't even bring that thing up, But like, it is weird, Jones. You're right that they're like, hey, we want this to be a commercial success. You can play Mario on it. It's so weird. I don't know what that's about.
Headlines.
They got the
What
headlines,
better
man.
way to like Labo, Zelda, Mario.
Putting on like their core franchise.
Yes. It's nuts.
so weird.
I could see maybe some Metroid Labo stuff going down.
No.
I mean, yeah, Metroid VR makes more sense than
Yeah,
anything.
what do you mean no?
I mean, N-O.
Colin
So-
wants no part of it.
I mean, if Samus is in third person or if it's a mode entirely where you're the ball, it can work. But if it's first person,
That'd be so fun, little puzzle ball game.
yeah, I'm cool with that.
Like Marvel, it's just Marvel Madness, but you're Samus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that I'm cool with. I'm aboard. I want to talk about The Division 2 a little more because something appeared in The Division 2. So, a YouTuber named Joe Raptor found a poster in an event center in the game. And it's just like a Viking holding this object. It says Valhalla, right? It's like a lot of people would ignore that. It's just an asset. Joe Raptor was the one who thought to say, what is that object that Viking is holding?
Do you want to know what's crazy too?
What?
Is I haven't looked into this, so they've probably already sleuthed all of this. But I've been replaying Assassin's Creed 2, and when you do the like weird mural thing, Subject 16 puzzle stuff to unlock like
Oh, the blacklight stuff?
you do the eagle vision and you find like a symbol,
Got it,
and then
got
you
it.
do the
Whole
little
other thing,
you
whole
do the
other
little puzzles. One of the puzzles had Napoleon. I know it's a famous painting, but it was the exact same Napoleon painting that is everywhere in the Division 2. I just thought it was
weird.
interesting. Like all around the White House and everything, there's like this Napoleon picture. Same exact one in Assassin's Creed 2.
Wow.
In the White House, there's a painting of Napoleon?
Makes no sense. I know. It's all, yeah.
I wonder if there's one in real life. Let us know.
There's all over too, not just the White House. It's like all over. Just like, you know,
So many
reuse
ra-
the assets.
Sound like a 7-Eleven or something.
Hubert, this is why I thought it was cute when Beyond Good and Evil 2 said, we want your stuff in our game. You know what I mean? Like, that could have been 1,000 paintings from people just submitting art, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't see a problem with that. Anyway, okay. We look a little closer at that thing in that person's hand. It's like the Apple of Eden. It looks very close to this mystical item of the Assassin's Creed franchise.
To be fair, that's the only thing I recognize of like the artifacts. Like it's just the apple. That's all I know. I've played all of them.
Yeah, so there's this painting of a Viking holding in like the Apple of Eden, and so like we could like say, oh, like man, well, I wonder, like that could mean like the next Assassin's Creed game is Vikings. Fortunately, we don't have to guess because we have Jason Schreier.
Scoop Master.
The Ubisoft sleuther.
So let me give you like his direct reporting. So in response to the poster, he says, "So does this mean that the next Assassin's Creed, confirmed by Ubisoft to be skipping 2019 and going straight to 2020, just in time for the expected release of next-gen consoles, is all about Vikings?" Well, yes, it does. A few months before this teaser emerged, Kotaku learned from two independent sources familiar with the game that 2020's Assassin's Creed, codenamed Kingdom, does indeed star Vikings. Well,
So hyped.
yep.
I know Vikings are starting to kind of become like zombies, where they're like every game is Vikings all of a sudden. It's like getting there, kind of.
No.
It's like bam. It's trending. Vikings are trendy right
Vikings
now.
are trendy. They're not like nearly like zombies. Yeah.
Not yet.
Yes.
But
You're sick of Loki. You're sick of Thor and Loki, right? You're sick of Odin. Enough.
a lot of Odin.
Yeah.
This excites me so much. One, because I can't get enough Assassin's Creed, but the gameplay, like possibilities with this, I imagine just like getting in your ship and
get boats,
raiding,
boats.
dude,
Give me more boats.
raiding the coast and going to these like full-on towns one at a time, just like raiding up the coast, looking for maybe artifacts like
Vikings
like
are bad
pieces of
guys.
Eden. That's misconception.
What do you mean that's a misconception?
We don't have a history podcast, Kyle, but like Vikings are not like these evil people.
They are, dude. Help me. No,
Everyone-
this is extremely related to this conversation.
I mean, you could say the
I don't
same
wanna-
about America, like sketch parts, but not all Vikings are like these evil bad people.
that's the point of raiding, though, is to like walk into some culture and just destroy everything and take it over.
But that's not what the raiding was all about. Like
What was the raiding all about?
Like they're starving and they can't farm on their land, so they're going to explore.
Uh,
We're here
because they're exploring involves murdering
You
the people.
eat the bad veggies.
Instead of saying like, hey,
same with America.
hello new culture, we have things to offer you. Well, yeah, but like I don't want to play a game about
But like Vikings
colonization.
did that too. Where
Like
they,
what game do you murder Native Americans in?
Dude, the Vikings also
Sunset
though.
Riders?
were-
Maybe.
You in big heap trouble. Yeah, you
Yeah.
do. It's true.
You're just pushing my buttons.
Well, tell me what's compelling about playing as a Viking in an Assassin's Creed game.
Axe.
He was in the process of doing that.
Yeah. The
He used the word raiding, Jones, and I had to
exploration.
stop him there. It's like,
Because raiding's not fun?
yes, raiding is not fun.
Raiding is not fun.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
That's a hot gaming take.
I doubt it's gonna be like going to these towns and just like murdering people, dude. I bet
That's
it'll
what
be
a raid is.
I bet it'll be more like the show Vikings, where it's like we go and maybe it starts that way. Maybe you start as like some murderer raiding, and then you realize you see, another religion, and you're like, let's talk about this.
Is that what happens in Vikings?
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
And like a lot of people just die in Vikings.
A lot of
though.
people. There are
Like everybody.
There are Viking factions that
Right.
do just want to like raid and pillage, but then there's also Viking factions that are curious about the world.
Check it
and
out, Kyle.
Humanity.
But it also won't be the first Assassin's Creed game where you murder dozens and
Yeah,
dozens
dozens.
and dozens of people.
It's gonna be
for whatever
You're gonna
reasons.
find about some other organization that have infiltrated towns. You're gonna go to the towns and kill them and liberate the town.
Oh, we're liberating
You will be
for
you
sure,
will be
Brad.
you will be betrayed by some other
Yeah.
evil Viking, and you will be cast out of the society.
Kill
You will
it!
have-
We
you-
were brothers!
You will have to start your own clan, and you will go out and find like your old buddies or something, or you'll go out and recruit people to your ship.
Yeah.
And I
RPG
wonder
elements,
too,
right?
because
Like heavy
like
RPG elements.
you're
Sure, and I wonder if they're gonna play up because this one, like, you had your crew on the boat,
Yeah.
which they added a lot more stuff to that, a lot more style choices, that I can pick, like whether these are men or women, what they're wearing, where they're from. You would like something would happen in the story, you would unlock a whole new skin or crew that you could do, and then there were the conquest battles, but those were weird because you would like go to a beach and nobody's there, and then fade to black, fade up. Oh, we're all here now, and it'd be interesting if like they were with you. Like you could have a clan that you could get off your boat and they would follow you around. So it wasn't just you like stealthing everywhere.
Is it still Assassin's Creed game at that point?
yeah, the
I
Vikings.
mean,
will-
Assassin's Creed games are just mostly, it seems like, just combat. The stealth, I feel like, is taking a backseat hard on those games.
Yes.
Like, it's still there, but it feels less important than ever.
And I assume will either be the Assassins or the Templars if they want to like switch it up. Maybe they'll make the Vikings the Templars or something. But I assume we're the Assassins, and then like France and Europe is like controlled by the Templars,
Yeah.
and you got to infiltrate.
I'd look at the Vikings were neither assassins nor Templars, right?
Yeah.
Like, why involve
Just
that
pulled
whole
in.
thing into Vikings?
Yeah, that was actually one thing I really dug about Odyssey is that like they had adapted the assassin style somewhat, but it was mostly Greek. Everything was Greek. Like
sure.
most of the outfits you got didn't look like at all, classic Assassin's Creed stuff. So, yeah, it's like have hoods in there I can throw on, but make it mostly Viking style.
Another rumor that was brought up that we kind of like just accept as fact now that I like never brought up on the podcast, but like is just simply a truth now. Watch Dogs 3 happens in London. This was mentioned in this article and like many others. Like we just all know now that that's
like, it's
that's
happening.
happening.
I love
Look forward
Ubisoft
to-
just kind of threw their hands up and they're like, let's just tell people then,
Yeah.
like what it is.
Yeah. And so look forward to Watch Dogs 3 announcement at E3 this year. It'll be in
Yes.
London. Like it's just happening. Like,
Coming out in October.
Yeah, like it's just why play around, right? Like it's just happening.
I just imagine like it's one thing that this article popped up or this one YouTuber or player was like, hey, this painting's weird. Anybody ever think about that? I wonder if it's gonna be Vikings. And then Kotaku pounced like they're just waiting. And so I just imagine Kotaku like waking up every day just being like like Assassin's Creed Vikings and like not getting any hits
Oh,
and being
like
like
Google alerts? Yeah, just like have a Google alert for
it
every
won't
new
be
secret
today,
guide.
like then it happens. They're so excited, like.
Yeah, I should credit two other people who brought it up and mentioned in Kotaku's article. No, never mind. That was a whole different thing. Yeah,
Oh.
Joe Raptor, the YouTuber, brought that up.
Good job, Joe.
Nice.
Good job,
The
Joe.
ship combat, Huber. Like, I'm so stoked. They're doing another one with ships in it. I'm
axe-
assuming
Yeah, what do you
Viking
mean?
and boats probably.
Yeah.
Those
yeah.
axe finishers.
Do you think it seems like Assassin's Creed is skewing supernatural, going harder and harder on that stuff? Will there be a frost giant?
Oh yeah.
Hopefully.
Oh sure. Oh my good. All the. Oh yeah.
100%.
It's like some
100%.
god
Oh,
will
yeah.
show up,
Yeah.
Full on. There's mythical beasts.
Will there be a Biofrost? Will we be leaving this plane?
taking shots at God of War, dude.
You'll see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll like maybe see it through a portal or something, but I don't know. Then you gotta
Valhalla
build that
will
thing.
reveal itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the DLC. 2 big chunks.
Yeah.
Valhalla's
that
DLC.
is such DLC.
If Atlantis is
DLC,
DLC,
babe.
Valhalla is DLC. Yeah.
Yep. Journey to Valhalla. DLC episode 1.
Real quick, this was a rumor that popped up this week, confirmed heavily by Xbox insiders. So on Twitter at Hawksawed, Thurrott and The Verge also confirmed on this that there will be an Xbox or Game Pass Ultimate that has Xbox Live Gold, Xbox Game Pass all in one subscription for $15 a month. That'd be a savings of $5 a month if you buy those 2 things individually. A savings of $0 if you just buy it yearly.
Nice.
Yeah, hey, neat. I expect that to be true. That's not really a juicy rumor because it's probably just going to happen. Makes sense to bundle those 2 things together. Finally, news I forgot. I was just sitting in my apartment. I was like, I forgot to talk about that on the podcast like 2 weeks ago, maybe 3. Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, and Detroit Become Human, all 3 published by Sony, will be coming exclusively to the Epic Games Store this year. For an entire year, exclusive to the Epic Games Store for a year.
Scooping, dude. Scooping up.
Yeah, and we don't know really what deal Sony had as publisher with Quantic Dream for those games, but it's kind of unprecedented for a Sony-published game to, well, actually, no. There are plenty of exceptions, actually, of Sony-published games eventually appearing on PC if they don't own the developer themselves. So, yeah, I guess contractually there is something there. Interesting, Sony said nothing about it. They're not hyping this up at all, so it's really just Epic Games Store paid them. It's happening. Going forward, it sounds like Quantic Dream is doing no more Sony exclusives. It sounds like that contract of 3 games is up. And so, yeah, that was kind of interesting. Hey, neat.
Money changed hands.
There was some money across the table.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to assume now Quantic Dream's next game will be Epic Games Store exclusive. On PC, at least.
On PC, yeah.
And I wonder, I mean, going back to Borderlands 3, I wonder if it's safe to assume most big third-party games are going to be Epic Games Store exclusives. I mean, I doubt Call of Duty because, right, they have their own thing.
Yeah.
What's it called?
More than have been announced. I don't know about most.
Are they in Battle.net?
Hasn't Battle.net changed? It was changed and they went back to Battle.net, right? Yeah. What's up, Jones?
I don't know about most. It's probably more than you're anticipating, or certainly more than have been announced.
I bet like all future Ubisofts though, like they'll be on Uplay, but also like Watch Dogs 3, like count on that being an exclusive Epic Games Store.
I wonder how much they'll push it like at E3 or like the big events when they announce stuff when like, you know, PS5, new Xbox gets announced. I wonder if we'll get like exclusively on Epic Games Store like at the end.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll like really, can you put that at the end of your trailer? Like, and it's interesting. It's like, Epic Games Store's in a really interesting position because like most people are not happy about the whole thing. Even people that have adopted to day one and signed up for a new account, like they're not loving the fact that they had to do that. So it's just an interesting position for Epic to be in with the game store where they're just like, eat it, you know, like eat your peas.
Yeah, money talks.
It is crazy, and it's because it's crazy how we started the talk about Epic Games Store. I remember I was saying like, hey, this isn't really sexy yet. You know what I mean? It's just Epic starting a game store. It's not really something yet, but I think it'd be something in the future. And months later, they are a huge deal. They're a huge part of this market. And as Brad said, it's just money, man.
Yeah.
It's just a big little Scrooge McDuck.
Gabe is
empty
wiping his
well.
brow right now.
Do you think he is?
A little bit. There's just like one little bead.
I feel like he's probably mildly annoyed about Artifact. It just didn't
Is that
work
the card game?
Yeah.
We didn't cover that, Brad. They sent out a letter to everyone where it's just like, hey, we don't know what's going on. We're committed to. What did they say?
There's like 200 people playing.
Yeah,
total.
it was this, like in the history of Valve. This is the biggest discrepancy from what we thought this was going to be to what this ended up being.
Yeah. That Valve Magic. Were they thinking the same
Valve
thing?
Magic. They were thinking about Valve Magic.
Oh, man.
They hired all the right people, right? They hired people who are good at making
I heard it's a
card
good
games.
game, too.
Right. They had the Dota license.
Yeah.
And just crazy. I don't think Gabe is sweating. I bet he's laughing his little butt off.
Because he's going to buy the Epic Games Store.
He's waiting for Fortnite to dip.
Yeah.
He's looking at his watch. He's checking his calendar for the Fortnite dip. And then he's going to buy the Epic Games Store.
Swoops in.
It's now time for Love and
The
Respect.
game store. Give me the game store.
Yeah.
Love and respect.
This one is a doozy, but you know what? Every once in a while, you got to have a doozy. Here we go. Bit of a long one, but here is one for love and respect. Hi, allies. I started listening to the Easy Allies podcast soon after the creation of Easy A and was hooked immediately. The podcast quickly became a staple for my drive home after many busy night shifts. I am an emergency room nurse in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and our ER is one of the busiest in the province, while also being the main trauma center for a large part of the province. The humor and entertainment of the podcast is the perfect combination to keep me awake after running off my feet for 12 hours. That's ridiculous. 1 year ago, on April 6th, tragedy struck my province. The Humboldt Broncos, a junior hockey team, were on a bus headed to a playoff game when they collided with a semi-trailer. 16 individuals lost their lives due to the accident, and 13 others were severely injured. I was working that night, and it will always be remembered as one of the hardest and most traumatic shifts of my career, as I was involved with providing care to those involved. The past year, since the accident, has been a hard one, filled with many tears and sleepless nights. I have struggled with episodes of anxiety, insomnia, and some other nasty stuff, but through it all, I've listened to the podcast every week and look forward to it immensely. It's so hard to go to sleep after seeing trauma all night long, but the weekly dose of comedy and lighthearted wit always helps always helps to blunt the sharp edge of trauma and put my head in a better place before it hits the pillow. I've been doing a lot of reflecting this week leading up to the anniversary of the accident, and after listening to the recent Easy update about joy, I have decided to become a patron. The therapeutic effect you have all given me this year has far exceeded the $5 a month, and I will be indebted to you for a very long time. I have found that I'm in a good place now and no longer struggling with anxiety, nightmares, or depressive thoughts. The terrible bits, abounding enthusiasm, deadpan humor, and off-mic snickering are all pure gold. Thank you so much for all being yourselves and reminding me of all the good and joy in the world. It has been an important part of my own self-healing and care when faced with repeated trauma and tragedy. Thank you so much. Love and respect, Tyler.
Damn.
Love and respect, Tyler.
Thank you, Tyler.
Yeah.
Love and respect.
Yeah.
Like terrible bits, though?
Yeah, no, but they're terribly good.
Are they?
They're good because they're terrible. They need to be terrible.
Snickering, is that you, Kyle?
Yes.
They need to be terrible. If you dropped a good bit on us, the audience, the panelists, none of us would know what to do with ourselves.
I'd be uncomfortable.
We'd be lost. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, it's, like, hard to read some of those on the podcast because they, like, hit me so hard. But, like, it's a positive message for everybody. Like, I feel like anybody could appreciate that message. And so, yeah.
I mean, that's fuel right there. I mean, that just makes you feel so good. Makes me feel incredibly good that you can have that impact. Because, like, I think the thing for me in my career is, I've just done a lot of different things. I started doing theater, and then I got into film, and then I was like, maybe I'll be a director or writer, and then like television just started kicking so much ass right after I graduated from college, and it was just like, whoa, like TV's so exciting. Maybe I should get into television. I can't leave this job. It is too much fun. Like working with you guys is so much fun. The video game industry is so fascinating. Like it's just like the debates, like the large conversations that we have, and so like I feel selfish sometimes because I'm like, I have friends that I knew from college that are going out trying to get people into politics. I have people that are working in in medicine and really like making a difference. And so just even the idea that we can come close to actually having like a positive impact on somebody's life, it's just like, feels good.
Yeah,
it's incredible. Not what I expected from this gig. To do that.
You officially don't owe us $5 a month anymore.
No.
If you made Jones feel good, you don't have to give us
you
money.
did it.
That's the rule.
That's worth more than $5.
Last week, I stumbled upon a chart listing all the previously released Pokemon games with their respective sales numbers, and it has completely crushed my expectation of how the growth of a franchise would be linked to the franchise's sales, revealing to me that it was more so the system the game was on that dictated the copies sold, rather than the overall popularity of the franchise. But other games might have a bigger difference in quality or gameplay than Pokemon. So, with that thought in mind, I looked up other Nintendo games and their respective sales over the years and came up with this little game. I will name 2 games of the same franchise that were released on different consoles, and it's the Allies' job to guess which of the 2 has sold more copies in its lifetime.
Okay.
And what I love about this in particular is that like Nintendo gets very specific about its units sold.
Yeah.
So we got pretty accurate numbers here. Franchise number 1, Paper Mario. Did Paper Mario on the N64 or Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door on GameCube sell more?
64.
Yeah, 1,000-Year Door, I think.
1,000 Year Door.
Okay, good.
So that's 64 is 1.37 mil. GameCube is 1.91 mil. So close.
Close, yeah. Because I know the 64 wasn't like a humongous success.
He was, yeah.
It's crazy though. It's crazy to see games. 1.9 is like not bad for 1,000 Year Door.
Sure, yeah.
There's a lot of
like
people out there that
a
play.
quirky Mario RPG game.
Yeah, one of the greats. Okay, Pikmin. Did Pikmin 2 or Pikmin 3 sell more? Pikmin 2 on the GameCube, Pikmin 3 on the Wii U.
3.
Oh,
Wait,
2.
Wii U?
Oh, no,
The Wii
2.
U.
2.
It's 3.
What?
It's extremely close though. Pikmin 2 is 1.12. Pikmin 3is 1.25.
Damn, dude.
Okay. So it's
Every
only
single
100,000,
person
you know?
bought Pikmin 3 on Wii U.
Attach rates were high on Wii U. Yeah, it was just the dedicated really
Yeah.
buying games for that thing. Yeah. I wonder if that'll stick true for the rest of these. Metroid. Did Metroid on NES sell more, or did Metroid Prime on GameCube sell more?
Trick question.
I'm going to say Prime?
Yeah, I'm going to go GameCube.
I'll do the original.
Yeah, it's going to be.
It's the GameCube.
Oh,
But
nice.
again, extremely close.
No, that feels good though.
2.73 mil on NES, 2.84 mil on GameCube.
Wow.
Over 2 million on an NES game. So hype.
NES games sold nuts, dude.
Yeah.
So hype.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, Mario Party.
Oh, jeez.
Not exciting ones though.
No idea.
These are both stinkers. Mario Party 8 for Wii or Mario Party DS for the Nintendo DS? Which one sold more?
DS.
8.
Wii?
DS.
Yes.
Never bet against DS.
The second you said DS, I was
Yeah.
like, what?
9.3 mil for the DS one, 8.85 for Wii. So that's what is
close.
crazy is like those are the highest numbers by far that we've talked about so far, and I think it's because we have the Wii and the DS here. I think like this
two
person's
juggernauts.
thesis is correct that even more so than quality, just the console it's on is the deciding factor with a lot of these. 2 more. Mario Golf. Which sold more? Mario Golf on N64 or Mario Golf Toadstool Tour on GameCube?
Toadstool Tour.
I'll go with GameCube.
I want to go with N64.
Brad wins.
Yeah,
N64.
Played
and
the hell out of that
super
game.
close. 1.47 mil on N64, 1.27 mil on GameCube. Very close.
So fun.
It's weird.
Where's Mario Golf, man?
It's like these games are designed just to sell a mill, right? Just like, yeah, we got a mill and we're out.
Cool mill.
But then like the Wii and DS era came out and they're like, what is happening?
Yeah. Why is this selling so much? Stop it.
And then like the Wii U is like, oh, okay, we're back to this again.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Donkey Kong.
Reality check.
Which sold more, Donkey Kong 64 or Donkey Kong Country Returns on the Wii?
Dude, 64.
Returns.
Returns, yeah.
hope-
The Wii.
Yeah, don't bet against Wii. Yeah, 6.53 on the Wii, 5.27 on 64.
That's
5.27
still
mil?
super respectable.
That game sold crazy.
You know why?
on
Because
this
it
thing.
came with the expansion pack.
I would think that would sell worse because of that, man.
No way, man. I bought
Yeah.
it for
Get that expansion
That
back.
expansion pack was nuts.
Give me that
dude.
power, baby.
Play
Yeah.
that Perfect Dark.
Yeah. Play Majora's Mask with that.
Yeah, I wonder if like just Mario 64 had a hand in that too, just like being so huge. And then just,
Dude,
another
3D
big property
platformers
shows up,
around that
64
time?
in the title,
Yeah.
open world platformer. Not
Dude,
open
like
world, but,
Banjo-Kazooie was killing
3D
it.
platformer, yeah.
Yeah, name recognition for sure. Just
Rare,
throw 64.
yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Rare Donkey Kong 3D.
Love and respect, Phil. Thank you, Phil. Neat
Thanks,
little
Phil.
game. All right, we can do this one real fast. No, you know what? I think this is going to be fast, and we're going to kill ourselves over this. This comes from Stuart Jack. I've never played a mainline Final Fantasy game. Which should I start with?
I don't know a proper answer for this.
There's no right
Can I
answer.
start with one? Because
I can start
You'll
with
say
one
9?
for
Start
sure.
with yours, Jones.
9, baby.
Oh.
9.
Why start with the best?
9. I think 9's at a really good point where it's going to, when you're done with it, you will know a lot about Final Fantasy that you didn't realize you know. Now you know what black mages look like. Now you know what white mages look like. Now you understand how these classes typically work together. It's reminiscent of the old world. It'll look a little bit dated. It'll get you used to, once you move from 9 and then you can play 8 and 7 and be like, oh, okay, these character
maybe
models are a
some
little
6 and 5, yeah.
jagged around the edges. You got that Resident Evil rendered backgrounds kind of, style. It looks good, but it looks, a little rough at the same time. But there's, at the same time, very modern sensibilities about 9. I think it's just a nice 50-yard line of that series as of where we stand right now.
It's great justification. I like that.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick.
Why? What's yours, Brad?
7 or 9 would be my recommendations.
All right, so talk about 7. I've never played a Final Fantasy game before in my life.
But the thing is, I think Jones makes a really good point about bringing it up, like the history of Final Fantasy, understanding like what this universe is. Because 7, like all that's just kind of out the window.
Sure.
There's like no more jobs.
Even
There's, like,
12 is
Yeah.
very different, and 10 like
to me,
there's
I
a lot of
think
new shocking
7
things.
just has a really great cast and a really great battle system and an awesome story.
yeah.
I think it has it checks all the boxes for me, I would say.
And I do feel like 7 still has heat on it, right? Like it's still got, like, you're going to get it. You're going to get all those references that you've been hearing for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And 9 is kind of at a standstill. Like it's been ported, I think, probably for the last time in a while, just recently.
Dude. I don't think 9 has a future the way 7 does.
Whereas
I get what you're saying.
if you are seriously considering, if you're going to put 40, 50 hours into this game, you're going to have that sweet payoff whenever the heck Final Fantasy VII Remake comes out. You're like, oh well, I actually have played this game. I can go back and do that.
Sure.
As much as it kills
I think
me
you'll have time to play both.
to recommend 7 over 9.
Huber, you got one?
7 or 9. I would say just look at the
art style,
screenshots,
the vibe,
and, get
because they're so different.
There's such big commitments.
I'm really surprised by this consensus.
So I would just follow your heart
Yeah,
and
it's
gut
like,
on that.
do you like the look of the older ones more, like 2 and 3 and stuff like that?
So to me, it was obvious because there's only one Final Fantasy for fans and beginners.
15.
And that is Final Fantasy 15.
That's right.
Definitely.
A Final Fantasy for fans and beginners.
Dude,
Love 15.
episode Arden.
And I actually downloaded it, dude. Oh, did you? Such a dumb idiot. To me, I can see someone, a person who has not played a Final Fantasy game, I could see it being very abrasive to go to a PS1 game. You know what I mean? And I'm nervous about that abrasion. And so I feel like if you're playing games today, like let's say you're a teenager. I don't know if Stuart's a teenager or just someone who hates Final Fantasy games. I just feel like that's the easiest way in. Like, okay, I got a left analog stick. I move the camera with the right analog stick. I get this combat system. I get the fighting.
But then where do you go from there? You have someone who's finished Final Fantasy 15, and they're like, "Here's what I liked about this game," and it's
then
like,
we can work with that, yes.
No, nothing else is like that. And you're just like, I really like the teleporting ability. It's like, I really like these 4 male central characters. You're like,
Love that car.
I really like the car. Like,
You're right. You end up way different games. Yeah.
I really like going on like conquest. Like hunting things down. It's like, well, there's 12, and then that's it.
Yeah, I get that. But they
Whereas again, 9, it's like now we can chat. Now we can figure out like what you enjoyed about that. It's the best of new and old. I think.
I mean, if you're watching Easy Allies, there's really only one right answer, and that's 13. So you got to follow the goddess.
A lot of what we do are just Final Fantasy 13 references.
It's true.
I'm breaking kayfabe.
They're very subtle.
Do not do 13.
13.
I'm sorry, I'm breaking
subtle.
kayfabe.
So
this is off the cuff. Do not start with 13.
13.
13 that has some
Nice and easy. Linear game.
I don't know if that makes it nice nor easy.
Nice progression.
Nice progression.
You're not going to get lost. You're not going to be confused.
That is true.
Yeah.
You are
You know
not
what?
going
I
to get
stopped
lost.
myself. I was going to say you're not going to be confused, and then I thought about the story. You're going to be so confused.
You're not going to get lost.
Because then they have to play.
It's like my favorite Final Fantasy
Then they have to
13
play
review.
13-2 and 13 Lightning
No,
Returns.
you can just play 13.
Nah, man. Complete the story.
Guys.
You know what you need? It's like you need like little yellow notepads, and you just need to have the definition for fallacy and Odyssey,
yeah.
and you just post them on the bottom of your television screen.
Wait, what? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like that is what I would recommend if you're playing 13.
Good call.
Time for bets. Next week's bet: Earth Defense Force Iron Rain, as we learned last week, is the first Earth Defense Force game to have a character creator. That's coming out Friday on April 12th. How many hairstyles will be available in the character creator, Jones?
8.
Bradley Ellis.
10?
Michael Huber.
15.
Whoa.
No, I guess I'm crazy. I have 31.
Wow, the
You
wealth
are
of-
crazy.
MMO.
What's
dude.
normal?
I have no idea.
It
like a-
varies
yeah.
wildly with video games.
It does, man. This is rough.
like Destiny has like 4.
Yeah, it could.
yeah.
8 was my first guess.
Red Dead Redemption Online definitely has less than 20 for sure.
Wow.
I mean, the trick though. Are we adding up both men and women?
Yeah, apparently they work for both.
Oh,
So like
okay.
any hairstyle can be used on any gender.
Got it. Didn't ask beforehand. Yeah, you might.
Jones, if you win this bet, I'm going to be on the Ukes Badwagon. Badwagon, is that something?
Badwagon.
Ukes Badwagon? Is that something?
Speedwagon?
Can we do something with this?
You might, yeah. You might have something there.
Last week's bet. Oh, I have to do this. What I'm doing right now is I'm going to ebay.com and I'm going to search for Fuse for the Xbox 360.
Nice.
Shut up. Fuse?
Yes.
Fuse.
How cheap can I buy it now?
Oh my God.
Jones-
$2.20.
Jones
dude.
bet $8.50, Blood bet $3.99, Damiani bet $6.99. I bet $2.55. Here we go.
Kyle's got
Here we
this.
go. Okay.
Kyle,
So
you-
Dude, I'm hoping
I
it's like
typed
one of
in
those
Fuse
rare
Xbox
ones, you know?
360 here, Huber.
Yep.
But I got to click on buy it now. There are 88 listings for buy it now.
Nice.
And then we got to rank, sort by price lowest first, but we said we're not including shipping. So okay, here we go. You can get $3.99, buy it now, free shipping. We have removed search results to show you the most. No, view all results, bud. Okay. Oh, I see. This is like
it's a
$1.99
case. It's a
replacement case. Okay, none of that, please. $4.99, $2.
$2 disc only, fast ship.
That counts.
Totally,
buy it now?
Totally counts.
I can buy it now.
Okay,
Yeah.
that counts.
$2, $2.99. Yeah.
$2.
I think I'm like, after we stop recording, I'm gonna buy this.
You remember when they showed that game off the first time as Overstrike?
We were talking. Oh, we couldn't remember the name. Overstrike.
I was like, oh, this could be cool.
Yes.
Overstrike.
Cool. Overstrike. Yeah. Huber, you would have bet it. You would have won if you said 220. You had the winning bet.
Damn it.
You're talking about how you don't have the winning bet. You just
Damn
were
it.
wrong on the wrong week, dude.
It's funny. I burned myself on like so many countdowns we used to do back at game trailers where I just last minute would be like, oh, I gotta buy that game. It's $8. Oh, come on. You know, like, and I should have been buying Fuse that whole time.
Fuse full playthrough.
But they were always a little more expensive than I anticipated. And you never know what weird game is like a cult classic.
Just for taxes recently, I was going through all of my Amazon purchases and seeing all of the dumb games I bought over the last year is insane.
Yeah. You buy a lot of dumb games.
Yeah, not too much though. So when I went through like my game purchases that were strictly used for Easy Allies, if I didn't talk about it on a podcast or something, I didn't include it. Like just over 1,000, like $1,200 basically spent on video games. I thought it would be way more than that.
Because like 10 new releases would be about like $650. So like
Yeah.
it's about 20.
But Kyle's buying like
games.
3 a year of new releases.
Well, like the funny thing is, was like I got to like Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and I never talked about it on any podcast because I just like got bored of it and quit. So it's like, well, can't write that off. It's like
I don't know, Kyle. You not saying something is also very telling.
that's a me purchase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the next new game you're buying?
I bought it is a scathing review.
What's my next new game, dude? Is Shovel Knight coming out? Is that happening this week? I'm really confused by
They
it.
like delayed a little
Yeah,
bit.
wasn't it the battle?
Yeah. So like, if maybe that
Pokemon for sure.
When's
but,
the King cards?
Pokemon's not the next game I'm gonna buy.
Oh no, but I mean
Are
that's
you gonna buy
next.
Days Gone?
In your future.
There's a 0%.
It depends on Jones's praise. We talked about this. Like if Jones comes
got a
in
shot.
here,
Yeah, I can't believe there's even a shot.
if Jones has high praise for Days Gone, we
There's
have a shot.
no way.
There's no way Jones
If
will give a
Jones-
high
That's the
praise.
nicest thing you've ever said to me,
If
Kyle.
Jones gave Days Gone a 9, you would not buy it.
All
There's
it would
no
take
way.
Is he a 9.5?
it would just take one nitpick for him not to buy it.
Yeah.
You got a brother in it.
Hubert, it's on my team, dude. I believe in Days Gone.
Nice.
It's
It's sneaking up, dude. I think it's gonna be good.
I think it
I'm
is.
hoping.
It's like a little
Hell
under
yeah.
the radar. It's a
Yeah.
dark horse.
Let's
for
go.
sure. Yeah. Hey, I want to bet. So that brings us to Scrappy Little Pigs 8. Whee! Gorgeous Gorillas 6. Let me talk to you for a second about Patreon.com/Easy Allies. That is the website you would go to if you want to support the Easy Allies, figure out what kind of things we do besides this podcast and what kind of things that levels and tiers and all of these crazy things Patreon involves, one of which is the $5 and up tier. This is a tier in which if you wanted to submit to Love and Respect or to Glenny's Cauldron, that's where you would go. But more importantly or significantly, you get this podcast 2 days early. You get it on Wednesdays as opposed to Fridays in both video and audio forms.
You don't know when Kyle's gonna post it. You don't know when. I give him that clip in the night, and it might be when he wakes up. Might be at noon.
Yeah.
Might be in the early afternoon.
It's like syndrome, man. You never know. when
You never know.
it's
Yeah.
going.
Do you think I should post? I'm not gonna. Jones,
No, I love it.
Jones sends me an email at 4 a.m. Like that.
Yeah.
You're usually up till 4 a.m. getting that export done.
Last week or the week before was brutal because it was podcast sponsors. We shot a lot of stuff that night.
True.
I was sick. That was a fun one.
Yeah. So, I mean, the listeners know now that you could potentially get the podcast at 4 a.m. Pacific time if I stayed up that late. I'm telling you right now, I won't do it.
Wait it out. Kyle, are you up? Kyle, it's posted. Kyle, it's finished processing. The HD's ready. Kyle.
That's like Bloodworth review notes, dude.
Yeah.
4 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Just got an IM from that wizard who hates us, Kasharar.
I'm shocked.
They snatched it up.
He snatched it up,
Day
man.
night cycle.
He's got the 24-hour
You know what the worst part is?
You
He snatched it right away. We walked away from that booth. We spent our doubloons.
I looked for him as we left.
And he waited. He's got eyes everywhere.
Yeah.
And then we leave, and then he buys it immediately, but then waits the whole damn podcast to then drop it.
You know what? Another ingredient he got that I was thinking about is the voice act. Every single character is voiced by one guy.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. That the phrasing is one guy. I think that implies this person is not talented. You know what I mean? It's not like a very good voice actor, because a lot of people are just like, that voice actor could be insane. Like, a lot of people are really good at doing lots of voices. I think when you say all of your voices from one guy,
There's some guy they got.
it's just some guy.
Dude, if there's only like 2 characters in the game, though.
Gotta specify that.
Yeah, we'll
Could
see.
be good.
Like,
That's the
Kasarara's
trick.
he's got a lot of things to
That's why I
fill
need the
in.
details, So we let these things go without specifying.
A lot of people want to see a game jam where like we actually try to get people to make these games, but like I think it's impossible.
What a cruel thing to do.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe in
do it.
dreams. Maybe possible in dreams.
Nope.
Dreams can come true.
Although I do like the idea of just fighting the devs at every turn. They're just like, hey, so I know you said the side of the spikes kills you, but I mean, are we serious about that? Are we actually doing it? Like, yes. It's very important.
1% of double jumps will not work.
I mean, you can
Figure it out.
slip around the side. Like, no, you need to put a hallway on the side there that if you even get, somewhat close.
Shoot, I think I just won the bet, so I get the right and responsibility to share my Twitter handle with the world. I get to promote any Easy Eyes video I'd like to promote, get the final word on anything I disagreed with, want to reiterate, just popped in my head, and I get to sign off with my trademark sign-off. My Twitter handle is @KyleBossman. I'm at a rate of almost 1 every 2 weeks.
Doing your crunches.
Like, imagine doing crunches once every 2 weeks. Your body's not feeling
Kyle,
it.
dude, stay off the internet right now. There's a lot of...
Because of Avengers?
So much.
Yeah.
Just full...
Don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Shh. I set up filters, bud.
Yeah, it's not good enough.
You're right.
It's not good enough.
Because of memes. It's not good enough because that's what I was thinking of,
Yeah.
is images.
Yep.
People
Yep.
just love to tweet little images.
Yep.
What, Jones?
It's just Days Gone, Dreams, and Avengers, and Game of Thrones. I can't. It's just like
Stay
literally the next week and a half.
Stay
It's like,
away.
Yeah.
Shut it down. Shut it down now.
Shut it down.
Easy Eyes video I'd like to promote is it called We Talk About Joy, the mandatory update?
I think it's Let's
Sorry,
Talk
easy
About
update,
Joy.
obviously. Let's Talk About Joy.
Yeah.
So obviously that meant something to, I think Tyler was his name, right? Obviously that meant something to somebody, so like more. There was one about fear that meant to a lot of people. It's just like you and Ian, when I say you, I'm talking to Michael Huber, Ian Hink, Don Casanova sitting at a table talking about fear and then talking about joy. Just an open discussion of a very broad concept, but like unusual. Nobody does that. Yeah.
Amanda listened to it before I did, and she was like, we were driving somewhere, and she's like, I think you and your partners have a lot in common. She's like, I listened to this, and it's
psychologically.
yeah. She's like, I listened, and I'm talking about fears, and it's you basically. It's everything that you're also afraid of. And,
Yeah.
just the idea. Like, right before we shot this podcast, I exported Trailer Jones, and I was just like, I probably messed up something in this episode. It's just so when you're just throwing things out to the world. It's like, I made a mistake. I know I did.
Yeah.
I know it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Hey,
Terrifying.
Just gotta minimize the damage. of mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just do the best you can.
Yeah.
it's kind
for
of like
effort.
a nice part of the blinking lights is we know we'll never have a perfect podcast.
Right.
There will always be the blinking lights, so we're starting at that baseline of perfection.
Yeah, this,
right?
this light's purple. There's nothing you can do about it.
That's one thing because of our masterpiece discussion from last week. I liked in the comments is talking about how some of the masters would intentionally put mistakes in their art because like perfection is like godliness, and it's like, well, I'm lesser than God, so I'm gonna make a little mistake here. Cute thing. I like that. Sorry, triple checking.
than a god, Huber.
You are less. Final word this week. Hey, why don't you check out Barry? So look, I know HBO. HBO is expensive. I know HBO is an expensive thing. It's less expensive than I thought it was because I can buy it for $15 a month with HBO Go/HBO Go Now, and then stop it when it's done. And so, I mean, like, I think a lot of people do it for Game of Thrones too. And so I'm not saying $15 is cheap to watch one show. I'm merely saying, like, I appreciate this show on a whole other level that I don't even like other shows for. Bill Hader is an inspiration. And so, yeah, highly recommending Barry this week. And my trademark is... Tomorrow, there's that off mic snickering. Tomorrow is forever all ours. You want to come play Sekiro and check out my sick pay?